Illustrator. You can see mine might look a bit different than yours because I have all my work in progress here at the bottom. We want to create a new file. We can go to print. You can see these are the presets and we don't have A3, so view all presets and click A3. You can change the orientation here, so portrait or landscape. You want to do portrait for our covers. Okay, this is in A3 mode. I'm going to show you how to go through and do a few things, so how you can organize your front cover and specialty page and also your recipe page. Here is the shape tool, so if you click on it and hold it, you can see a whole bunch of different shapes. We're going to go with the rectangle tool. Click and drag to make that shape, fill that space. You can see there is a black outline around this shape, and I want to remove it. So here on the side here, you can click to show the outline, and I want to say no outline, and I want to click back to the front color, and if we double click on it, it gives us an option here of how we can change those colors. So here you can see I'm moving this cursor around, lighter to create more of a tint, or darker to create more of a shade or a tone of the color. And you can also come along here, this color bar, and change the colors and go through them. Just be mindful that the colors that you're picking go well and correspond with the vegetables that you're having on your front cover. If you do not have confidence in which one you're choosing, remember you can go back to PowerPoint on Crest Connect that goes through the different color choices and how to use analogous colors and harmony and create contrasting colors there. So please look at that when you're making your color choice, if you've not already selected on your idea generation for the front cover. These were some of the examples when we looked for our two-page specialty insert. You can see how it's your decision to sort of make if you're using white vegetables or something like this clustered together. You've got a nice color to contrast them on the base, and then also have the theme in the background. Some of these ones are more monochromatic, and they have different shades of the same color, like green. And here is the design process. You can use monochromatic and different color theory that we discussed previously. Okay, now what I'm going to do is start to bring over some of my images. So, just get my folder up. Veg forward, and I've got my vegetable scans. So what I can do is click and drag these in, drag in a couple. Once I'm done, I can click back onto here, and they should load. When I'm trying to click and move things around, I go to V for the selection tool. About back and forth. I can see here there is a corner and an arrow to resize. Please make sure you're using this to resize, but you can see that it changes and stretches and pulls the image. So when I go Command Z or Control Z on a PC to undo it, I need to hold Shift to resize that if I want to make it smaller. If I want to crop this image here and try and get rid of this extra border around our carrot, just to make it easy to manage, go to crop image. Make it a bit smaller without cropping off any of our image, and then apply. And now I have this small one that's easy to manage. Again, if I want to resize, I don't want to use the side. I want to make sure I hold down Shift to resize. So a couple of things we can do with this carrot. We can rotate him a bit, get him to line up with our composition. We can also reflect, so we can turn it the other way, horizontal, vertical, different way. So now it's flipped the other way. If you want to make multiple copies, I know a few people have P's and things like that. So again, we can always go Commands or Control C and V, paste another one on another layer. I would suggest even placing the images on a new layer so they're easy to select when you're working on them later on. Another thing to multiply is if you hold down Option, you can click and drag and make more carrots. If you have something in image, because remember I did these super quickly so I can get through the example, that I had some white and I'm not too happy with this, to change it, because remember Illustrator is a vector program, we want to make sure that we are not editing this in here. We need to edit it in Photoshop. So then you would remove the carrot and go back to Photoshop and fix it up and just resave it. Remember when you are placing your objects that you're considering their alignment and how they're pointing to the font, because we want to think of what the hierarchy is and what the important things we want to be directing the viewer to. Incline it to. So really considering how you arrange them. Okay, I'm going to stop playing with these carrots and we're going to look at creating font. So I'm going to look at the type tool. So this type here, you can also press T and that comes up as well. What I'm going to do is, because you can see I keep selecting those carrots, if I go here and lock the layer, then I won't keep getting interference. I can create a new layer and add my font. So it's quite small now. So here along the top, I can increase it. If you don't get any of these type or character adjustments here at the top, remember you can go to Window, and look for type and any further things. If you tick any of these layers and things, they also will come up. So once we have the font, we want to call it Veg Selection Tool, or V on the keyboard. If we're resizing again, the same thing, that we need to make sure that we're holding Shift. Okay. I'm going to double click and I want to have a play with the font. So once I've clicked it, I can go to character here and look at some different font. Or, there it is, at the top here. You can see there's a little example we can go through. So if you don't see the one that you have from the search that we did for a different type, what we can do is go back to the font and we download the font. Oops. Once we've got it downloaded, you should get a zip file like this. You double click on the zip file and then it opens it up and you'll get a TTF or OTF that you double click. And when you double click it, you install the font. And now I've got this font installed. So this one was Lemon Tuesday. So with that font still selected, I'm going to look up Lemon Tuesday. There we go. And that's how we get the font from our search. Once we have all the type, we have it all in. If you sent this file like this without the type file to someone else, they wouldn't be able to print it or work from it. So we need to rasterize this and make it not a text anymore, but we want to make it into a shape so we can edit it. So if we go to Object and then Rasterize, sorry, Object Expand, as I was saying, Object and Fill, press OK. And now, if I Command plus and zoom right in, we can click on it with the other arrow, the Direct Selection tool. And what this does is it shows that these are shapes now. So if I can grab one of these anchor points, I can push and pull it and change it if I want to. Command Z just to go back and undo what I've done. You can also change the color, so double clicking. Again, this is based on your idea generation and the color theory that you're focusing on, if you're doing monochromatic or if you're using contrasting. Let's with that if I want to do an outline. So this and double click. And now I can add an outline. If I want to add thickness to my outline as well, so can't see the stroke tool on the side, so I'm just going to do window and stroke. So my window's probably not popped up. Yep, there it is there. So here I can increase the point size and increase the stroke. There's the weight. There you go. So we can make the outline thicker if that's what we want. When you're all finished, again, this is very rough. Oh, sorry, one thing I've forgotten. If you want to add different color shapes, we already used the shape tool. We're not just limited to these ones. We can also use the pen tool here. And I'm just going to make this box clear so it's easy to draw the shapes out. I'm going to make it on a new layer as well so it's easy to edit. Unlock that bottom one. To click and drag it around. Then what I can do is, once I'm happy with the placement of it and I want to add a color, double click and add a color. So we can see here now that this, go back to selection tool. So V on the keyboard. I'm happy with this color and where it is, but I'm not happy on how it's placed within the hierarchy of all the other things. So I want to move this down. If I look here back onto the layers, I can click and drag and bring this underneath the other layers. Go back to this one, and if I want to work on this one, I can click and get rid of the little padlock, and then I can work on these again. Once we have completely finished, we want to file, save as, want to save it to your computer, save it to your iCloud as well. When you are saving it, please save it as an Adobe Illustrator file, a .ai file. This means that we can continue to edit it, and once we have some feedback on our work, we can finalize it. Please ensure you are placing your name and also Verge forward cover, and save it in the correct space, not the example here I'm showing you. Save it there as an Illustrator file. Once you have finished that and you've come back from feedback and you've finished finalizing as well, and you know you want to keep this design, want to Command S to save as is to the already saved Illustrator file. Then you go to File, Save As, save to your computer, make it final print. And we want to save it as a JPEG. So if we look here, we can't find a JPEG. This is the Save As. So we cannot save it here in this format. We have to remember export it like we did on Photoshop. So if you come to save and you can't do this, then we need to go to File, Export, Export As, and we don't want a PNG, we want to make it a JPEG. There we go. Page forward, front cover, final print. Because we're saving this as a JPEG, we're not saving it over the top of our veg forward cover, and export. Want to make sure that it's CMYK. RGB is red, green, blue, so that's when it's only working on a computer. CMYK is cyan, magenta, yellow, and black, and that's the inks that we put into the printer to print them. Make sure it's all maximum, and we'll press OK, and that's saved. So when you finish that, make sure you are uploading it onto online on Crest Connect, and also printing off and submitting a final printed copy with your name and class on the back. Thank you, and I will look forward to seeing your work. Bye.